Think like Marcus Aurelius. Most people have heard this famous line from Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. At first, it sounds impossible. How can you stay calm when life keeps throwing problems at you? Deadlines, rejection, anxiety, people who disappoint you, plans that fall apart. Here's what's fascinating. Modern psychology is slowly confirming something Marcus Aurelius wrote nearly 2,000 years ago. Your happiness depends less on what happens to you and far more on how your brain interprets what happens. That's a powerful idea, and once you truly understand it, your entire life can begin to change. Marcus Aurelius wasn't living in comfort. He ruled the Roman Empire during wars, disease outbreaks, political betrayal, and constant uncertainty. Every day brought pressure most people couldn't imagine. Yet instead of trying to control everything around him, he trained something much smaller, his own mind. That's the foundation of Stoic philosophy. Not becoming emotionless, not pretending pain doesn't exist, but learning that there's a difference between events and your reaction to those events. Modern psychology calls this cognitive appraisal. Two people can experience the exact same situation and feel completely different because their minds interpret it differently. Lose a job. One person thinks, my life is over. Another thinks, this is painful, but maybe it's opening a new door. The event is identical. The meaning is different, and that meaning shapes everything that follows. Researchers studying stress have repeatedly found that the way people interpret difficult experiences strongly influences resilience, emotional recovery, and long-term well-being. Your brain isn't simply reacting to reality, it's constantly creating a story about reality. Marcus Aurelius understood this centuries before neuroscience existed. That's why he reminded himself every morning that difficult people would appear. Some would lie, some would act selfishly, some would misunderstand him. He wasn't becoming pessimistic. He was preparing his expectations. When those moments arrived, they no longer shocked him. Think about how often frustration comes from expecting life to be easier than it is. You expect traffic to move. You expect everyone to be reasonable. You expect success to happen quickly. Then, reality disagrees. Suddenly, you're not just dealing with the problem. You're fighting the fact that the problem exists at all. Marcus Aurelius would simply say, this is part of life. That single shift removes an enormous amount of unnecessary suffering. There's another lesson that's surprisingly difficult. Stop worrying about other people's opinions. That sounds simple, but your brain is wired to care what others think because for most of human history, belonging to a group meant survival. Social rejection could literally become life-threatening. Today, that same wiring makes one negative comment online feel far more important than it actually is. Marcus Aurelius knew this. He wrote that the opinions of others are temporary. The people judging you are struggling with their own fears, distractions, and limitations. Why let someone else's passing opinion become a permanent prison inside your own mind? Imagine how much energy becomes available when you stop trying to manage everyone's perception of you. You finally have time to improve yourself instead. That's another Stoic principle. Focus on your character before your reputation. Your reputation lives inside other people's minds. Your character lives inside your choices. One is outside your control. The other belongs entirely to you. Psychologists studying intrinsic motivation have found that people who focus on internal values instead of external approval tend to experience greater satisfaction, persistence, and emotional stability. Marcus Aurelius would have smiled at that finding. He was writing about it nearly 2,000 years ago. Another habit made him remarkably resilient. He regularly reflected on death, not because he was depressed, because he wanted clarity. The Stoics called this memento mori. Remember that you'll die. That sounds uncomfortable. Yet it produces an unexpected effect. When you remember that time is limited, small annoyances begin shrinking. That argument suddenly seems less important. The delayed email becomes less stressful. The embarrassing mistake feels temporary. Instead of creating fear, remembering life's limits often creates gratitude. You begin noticing ordinary moments. A conversation, a sunrise, a quiet walk, a meal with someone you love. The Bible expresses a similar wisdom in Psalm 90, asking God to teach people to number their days so they may gain a wise heart. Different traditions, similar truth. Life becomes richer when you remember it won't last forever. Marcus Aurelius also believed that every obstacle could become training. This may be his most practical lesson. When something difficult happens, your first instinct is usually to ask, why is this happening to me? What if you asked a different question? What is this teaching me? A difficult boss might teach patience. Failure might teach preparation. Loneliness might teach self-reliance. Criticism might reveal something worth improving or remind you not to depend on constant praise. Psychologists call this cognitive reframing. It's one of the most effective techniques used in modern therapies because changing your perspective changes your emotional response. The obstacle doesn't magically disappear, but you become stronger while facing it. Marcus Aurelius famously wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." That's not just philosophy, it's practical psychology. Your hardest experiences often become the source of your greatest growth. Finally, Marcus Aurelius understood something many people spend their whole lives chasing. Peace isn't found after everything goes perfectly. Peace comes from becoming the kind of person who remains steady even when things don't. Life will always contain uncertainty. People will disappoint you, plans will change, health can fail, money comes and goes. But your ability to choose your response can grow stronger every single day. That's the freedom Marcus Aurelius discovered. And it's available to you, too. So here's something to try today. The next time something frustrates you, pause for just a few seconds. Ask yourself one simple question. Is this within my control? If the answer is yes, take the next small action. If the answer is no, let your energy go toward what you can actually change. It sounds almost too simple, but simple ideas practiced consistently often become life-changing habits. Marcus Aurelius didn't become wise because life was easy. He became wise because he learned that your greatest victory isn't conquering the world. It's learning to govern your own mind.